Good evening and welcome to ATV News. I'm Charity Pepazani. Here are your top stories this Wednesday. In Harare, Zimbabwe, there have been reports that a woman forced her 7-year-old stepdaughter to eat human waste because she sold her bed. 19-year-old Fatima Kahari appeared before magistrate Mr. Donald Ndoweri yesterday. Kahari allegedly pinched the child all over her body and on several other occasions refused to take her to school or give her food to eat. Police were called when a neighbor saw the girl's mouth full of feces. In Nakonde, Zambia, 3 filling stations are under enormous pressure due to a critical fuel shortage in Tundama in neighboring Tanzania. Desperate motorists are flooding across the border to buy fuel. There have been reports of long queues of both Zambian and Tanzanian drivers at 2 petrol stations in the town. Some drivers have spent the night in vehicles waiting for fuel. The Energy and Water Utilities Regulatory Authority of Tanzania has admitted that there are pockets of fuel shortage in some areas of the country due to disruptions of distribution systems, especially in rural areas. The distribution of food aid could become one of the key factors in next year's elections in Zimbabwe. The World Food Programme now estimates that about 1.6 million people will require food aid in Zimbabwe by next year's harvest, expected from April 2013 onwards. One area that is already becoming something of a battleground on this issue is Buhera. Joseph Chinontimba of ZANU-PF lost his seat in the constituency in 2008 but continues to provide maize for the villagers. The incumbent Buhera South legislator Nason Namadzivai of MDCT said he's working with local leadership to bring food to the areas and accused ZANU-PF of using food as a political tool. The Zimbabwe Peace Project has alleged that hungry villagers are being denied food handouts and forced to denounce their own parties in return for assistance from ZANU-PF militants. Joining us on the line to discuss this is Zimbabwean commentator Nigel Mugamu. They estimate that 1.6 million people will need food aid in Zimbabwe by 2013. Are you surprised by this figure?
Not really, no. No, I'm not surprised, no. Over the last couple of years, the rainy season has shifted. And so I know people close to me, or people that I know, or where the rains, normally, well, it's going to rain today, it's been raining today, for example. And so obviously what typically happens, people go out there and plant their crops. And so what happened last year was the rains came and then they went away. So it didn't rain for a couple of weeks. And so because of the sun and the heat, the crops dried and died. And so they had to go again and try to find some money to go and get some more crops. And and obviously not everyone can do that because it all.
So how big an issue could this be for the politicians ahead of the elections?
It's not, to me, it's not the kind of problem that could derail or affect the elections, because this is not a story that, this has happened before. This is basically the rainy season's been changing. Just like anywhere else in the world. So, global warming or whatever you want to call it, things have changed. So what needs to happen is a situation where farmers are, use crops, for example, that are more, drought resistant. So I personally don't see this as something that could affect the elections.
But so what do you understand about how the various parties are handling the food crisis?
The way that look, in my own village, the I don't want to say chief, the sabuku. So okay, let's just call him a chief, yeah, for argument's sake. Plays a vital role in sorting out people's disputes or issues over land or whatever, right? So and when food is distributed, this particular person plays a vital role. So if your household is known to sway towards this side of the political spectrum, that person can make a judgment and say, well, I don't think you should, you deserve to get grain or whatever it is like everyone else. So that does happen. Similarly, this particular person can also decide to influence whether you get grain or not, simply because your children may live in one of the cities, one of the towns, and have a job, and they've got a job, and they send money back home, and they look at situations and say, well, if you have means of buying or getting maize or food or whatever, fertilizers, you don't deserve to get any of this stuff. So that does happen, even without the politics. So you add the political angle to this, and it becomes a bigger problem. So for sure, I mean, people in the villages need the grain. They require the food or grain or fertilizer or whatever it is. Someone is simply using politics to decide who gets and who doesn't, and that's sad, I find.
Thank you, Nigel. The self-titled Zimbabwean adult entertainer Beverly Bev Sibanda has posted a new video on YouTube. The video, titled Bev Jailhouse, This Is My Story, was inspired by her arrest in September when she was questioned about her raunchy nightclub dancing routines. Police did not charge her for this incident. Sibanda claims the video is a reconstruction of how police officers treated her while she was under arrest. The professional video shows fake police officers drooling over her as they watch her perform her pole dancing tricks to the sound of Elvis Presley's Jailhouse Rock. A dispute has broken out between two Zimbabwean art groups. The Zimbabwe Book Fair are the custodians of 4 gazebos situated at Harare Gardens next to the Art Gallery of Zimbabwe. Theatre in the Park is an organization that has been using one of the gazebos for its theatre shows for the past 17 years. But this year, the book fair have denied the theatre show access to the gazebos due to contractual disagreements. In entertainment news, Zambian artist Rough Kid won an award at the recent BAFTA Awards. He won Best International Act, beating African music heavyweights such as Zara, Camp Mula, and Grace Galazi. The awards for black entertainment, film, fashion, television, and arts were held in London. We'll be speaking to Rough Kid on tomorrow's ATV News to hear about his success. But for now, here's a clip of Rough Kid's big collaboration with Slap D and Zone Fam.
You can't bury come on, not in the way the yato. Monga on that cry for more.
Here with today's top sports stories is Michael Mambo.
Thanks, Charity. I'm Michael Mambo with tonight's sports. In South Africa, banned Zimbabwean coach Sunday Chidzambwe has lost his job with our South African side, Black Leopards. The South African team has appointed Ian Palmer as their new coach on a contract until the end of the season. Chidzambwe has been banned from football for life for his alleged role in the Asiagate scandal, which has rocked Zimbabwean football. However, FIFA are yet to act on the findings and sanctions of FIFA, so no bans have yet been formalized. For now, Chidzambwe will assume the role of technical director at the Black Leopards And the Black Leopards chairman, David Tida, will say that the club will stand by Chidzambwa despite the AsiaGate reports. Highlanders legend Willard Khumalo has launched a strong attack on Dynamo's goalkeeper George Chigoe. Khumalo suggested that Chigoe's fumble that allowed Highlanders to equalize in their weekend game was a punishment from God. His comments referred to an incident where Chigoe interrupted a Warriors pre-match prayer and tried to incite the crowd. Dynamos were leading the match 1-0 before Chigoe fumbled the ball and allowed Bruce Kangwa to equalize with just 6 minutes to go. Khumalo told Star FM that Chigoe was punished by God for what he was doing. In Zambia, informed striker Collins Mbesuma has been included in the national team squad that is to play South Africa in a friendly in Johannesburg on the 4th of November. Coach Harv Renard has included Netherlands-based striker Jacob Mulenga, young players like Mukaku, Mulekenga and Shadrack Malambo, but he has left out Clifford Mulemba. Musema has earned a recall after an impressive run of form for Orlando Pirates in South Africa. Zimbabwe's young Formula 2 driver A.C.L. Jeffries left Harare today for his London base. The driver had been visiting Zimbabwe for a holiday during which he met Vice President Joyce Mujuru. Whilst in the country, Jeffries officiated at several functions in his role as Tourism and Goodwill Ambassador for Zimbabwe. He vowed to continue flying the Zimbabwean flag whilst in Europe, and during this period, Jeffers officiated at several functions in his capacity as the Goodwill Ambassador for the country. Jeffries was accompanied by his mother and officials from the Ministry of Media, Information and Publicity. That's all for tonight's sports. Good night.
Today's photo of the day is of Lambert Bakausaru. Keep sending us your pictures at our ATV Facebook page and you could appear on the big screen. Thank you for watching ATV News and have a good evening.